Do 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 do. Ba da ba 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 da. Ba da da ba ba da ba ba. Ba da ba 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 ba. Bam!
The pods are ready. Tell us your location.
Really? No. They will need calibration. Any severe infestation should be enough.
Put them in my gear. Put them in my gear. So, next part of the mission. Test the Furliak pods uninfested. We're going to Eris. Oh boy, oh boy. We're making our way up here. Up here to this mission. Kind of a spoiler, right? Telling us that it's going to be an assassination mission. For something called the Jordas Golem. And we are trying to find the Cephalon called Cephalon Jordas. Oh boy.
Use this mission to calibrate your Furliak pods. Just don't use them all.
Okay. Well, we got 50 of them. So that's... It's gonna be just fine. We gonna be just fine. Oh, what's that? Really? Yeah. I have had enough of fighting juggernauts.
Now would be a good time to try out those pods, operator.
Uh-huh. Ah! 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 Aha! The juggernaut has been found. Let's see. I'm just gonna plonk this.
That did it. Here comes the juggernaut.
Not a problem. Okay, so here's what we do. We plop down a pod.
Dangerous, but beautiful. I can almost taste them. But the golem needs something more potent.
The golem?
I've sent you a blueprint. Irradiating the pods will make something worth bringing here.
Great.
Well, yes. I suppose this is something my operator can arrange, isn't it, operator?
Yes, yes, Ordis. Oh my god.
No rush.
Jordas, I'm not sure you are a trustworthy individual. Just saying. Just saying. Alright, so we gotta kill some stuff. I can do that. Infested. I wanna take a shot at you. Ba, 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 ba. Ah, there it is. Hi, Jug. I'm just gonna desecrate. Get a double drop. Yeah. And then die for some reason. Is that some sort of toxin thing? I don't even know what hit me. That's okay. We got the double drop from the Juggernaut. Not that we need it. Like, because, you know, you craft the Furliak pods for this mission. But I don't, like, they have so little use otherwise. So there's no point. So I don't know why you'd fight Juggernauts. You're not gonna get anything useful out of them. Ah! Hiya! And we're done. Easy peasy. All that's left is get to extraction. Woo! Will do. Alley-oop. And we're out. Now we have to craft something new, which hopefully won't take another 12 hours. That would suck, wouldn't it? If it's like play one mission for 10 minutes, or in this case 3 minutes and 25 seconds, then wait for 12 hours.
I would never abandon a fellow Cephalon, but centuries adrift have fried his, have not been kind. I suppose all Cephalons degrade, don't they?
Welp. Let's find out. Bum ba-dum bum. Bum ba-dum bum. Is it here? No? I thought I was supposed to craft something. But maybe not. Oh. There we go. Potent Furliac pods. How about that? Not just your normal Furliac pods. No, we gotta craft potent Furliac pods. How long will that take us to craft? Oh! 8 hours! Great! I also need 3 argon crystals for that. So I guess I'm doing a little bit of a dip into the void to get some of them argons. As always, Teshub. Easiest place because that's the one that people go to farm for argon. It's a low-level exterminate mission. There's no challenge. You always get a full squad. Everyone just runs around. Cleans out the map. Puts waypoint markers for where there are argon crystals. And with some luck, you'll get all the argon you need in a short amount of time. So. Let's get to work. Alright, I've got my 3 argon crystals. Took a little bit. Didn't take that long. And that means shaboom! In 8 hours we can continue the quest. Woohoo! In the meantime, I'm gonna show you something that you should always be on the lookout for. See here, they show you this on the screen, but like currently it's very empty. Normally there's more stuff going on, so you might not notice stuff like that on your main screen here. But there is such a thing as called tactical alerts. They pop up from time to time. You should keep a look on this screen. You always have like the weekly Ayaton treasure hunt and help Clem and whatever. But if this number is bigger than it should be, like 4, oh, that means there's some new sort of alert going on. And as you can see right now, unfortunately, by the time you watch this, you won't be able to get this because there's an hour left to get this. But here's like, oh look, I do a goddamn mobile defense mission at rank 10 to 15, and I get an awoken reactor blueprint, which is fantastic. Or I'll do a defense mission on Saturn. No, I can do both. And get a Noggle statue from my orbiter. It's great. And some good creds. Obviously, these are fantastic. So keep a lookout on this. Just keep your eye on that tab. Also when it comes to invasions, normally you got your detonite injectors, Mutalist, LV, nav coordinates, field drawn, mutagen mass, and some component parts for like some Vandal or Wraith stuff, right? But this is the same thing. Sometimes these can offer wacky rewards. Sometimes these things can offer like Awoken Catalyst blueprints and stuff like that. So whenever you log on, just look at your current invasions and look at what the rewards for them are. And sometimes you're going to be surprised. It's going to be worth it. But for now, it's like, I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to guess it's not going to take as long to find a squad. Everyone is playing these. They're usually sort of limited time. You don't have a long time to do them. Probably like, I don't know, 24 hours or so. And really good rewards. Usually they sort of coincide with things like dev streams, for example. When the developers do like a Twitch stream.
Be prepared for heavy resistance.
Bleep.
I can't do this without you.
When the developers do like a Twitch stream.
Be ready.
And okay. To announce something or whatever, or show off something new they're working on. They usually sort of like throw out these tactical alerts and inform people during the streams, like what's going on.
We have got to find a terminal.
But
Proceed and prepare.
if you're not someone who watches the dev streams on the developers' Twitch channels,
Here is a terminal.
then you just gotta have to manually keep yourself up to date by paying attention to those alerts tabs.
I'm in, Tenno.
Whee!
This will take a moment.
So they had a dev stream recently, and obviously there's a ton of things they're working on right now. A ton of things. We have the announcement of like the coming Duviri Paradox thing, which is going to be a whole new open world. And, you know, they're building toward the big thing, which is the new war. Exactly when that's going to come out, who knows. But it's going to be huge when it does happen. It's going to be some massive stuff.
Continue to defend.
Oh yeah, we're defending. Don't you worry about it. They also have the railjack things they're working on with the new sort of Arcwing flying in space missions and building a big spaceship. But for this dev stream, what they were talking about was partly the rework of the melee system, which is a big thing. Melee 2.0. So they're gonna switch how weapons work. They're gonna switch how combos work. The channeling is no longer going to exist in the form it does today. So mods that give bonuses to channeling and stuff are gonna be reworked. Certain Warframes like Ash and Korra and whatnot that have skills that synergize with channeling are going to also be reworked. We'll see exactly, you know, what everything is going to mean in practice. It's not everything is super clear yet. They're rebalancing the weapons, so they're making some weapons stronger and some weapons weaker, stuff like that. Which is, you know, why if you have a lot of slots, you know, keep your shit, keep as much stuff as you can, because eventually, suddenly, they might decide to rebalance the game, and a weapon that was kind of jank is like, oh, I guess this is godlike now. I guess this is the meta now.
Still working on it.
Like I think like the normal ska now or something, like the starter weapon that you get. I think they like tripled its base damage, something like that. That's cool. And all of these effects are gonna like, I'm not sure if they've already taken place or if they take place like shortly within the coming days or something, but it's something like that. Charged attacks are gonna be replaced with something called heavy attacks, which I don't know exactly what's gonna be different about it, but something is gonna be different about it.
Data logs indicate that there is an awoken artifact somewhere here. Get to it now,
Yeah.
defend it, and then we can leave.
Okay, Lotus. Will do. Whee! Whee! I was too slow.
Found. Defend it until the extraction team arrives.
What else was there? Man, there was a bunch of stuff they announced. But that was just in regard to melee and a melee rework.
This will take a moment.
Then they're also going to introduce the thing they're working on, which is just straight up stealing from, or not stealing, just, well, I guess stealing. That's fine. It's such a good system that every game should have it. The Nemesis system from God of War. Oh yeah, they're gonna introduce a goddamn Nemesis system in Warframe, where you fight some sort of big powered up Grenier who have been drinking Kuva, like the awoken, and become immortal, so he too can resurrect. When you kill him, he will resurrect as a Kuva Lich and become your personal nemesis, and he will amass some sort of army to fight you. Oh, did I say God of War? Oh, I meant Shadow of War, or Shadow of More War.
Maybe I just misheard you.
Well, in that case, I made a stupid. I meant Shadow of War. Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of Mordor! Yeah, the Nemesis system. So,
The odds were against us.
they're gonna create their own army and gather influence in the system, and you can see, like, what part of the system they're in control of. And then you sort of, like, have to fight your way to them and get to their base and take on the Kuva Lich in a one-on-one duel. And you can have help by your squad, but for the actual sort of fight against the Lich itself, which is going to be like a boss encounter almost, then you're going to have to take them on by yourself. Super cool. Really, really cool.
Excellent work, Tenno.
And look at that. Juicy BP. Juicy Awoken reactor BP. And that's coming soon. The Kuva Lich thing is coming soon. Oh, it's gonna be great. They're adding more content to the game. They're adding more actual endgame content. Love it.
I would
Well.
never abandon a fellow Cephalon, but
Yes, yes, Ordis. Oh my god.
Pride is. Have not been kind. I suppose all Cephalons degrade. Don't
And you know, we obviously have to do... We have to get the Ember Noggle. Right? Gotta get the Noggle statue. No, I'm actually like super hyped for that. Because like Shadow of Mordor is a game that sort of like it's...
Our position has been compromised.
That was kind of groundbreaking when it came. Even though like looking back on it, it's like it's not a perfect system. There's room for improvement on what they did. But it was the first of its kind when it came. It was kind of a new thing about like just dedicated enemies that become your arch enemy, and you have to like encounter them over and over again, and it creates a sort of meta narrative within the game, where like you build your own story, build your own storybook, and it's smart to do that, especially if it's a game that is sort of light on story content, like Warframe is. Like, Warframe absolutely has tons of story content. Just look at this LP, which is up to, like, a goddamn fuck ton of episodes, and I'm only showing you the story content and cutting out everything else. But even so, when you actually play the game and not watch an LP of it, story stuff is very sort of sparse. Because you spend most of your time just grinding out missions and playing the game. And then, you know, you get a snack. You get a snack worth of story every now and then. Juicy Awoken cells. So, inserting a system into the game where players can just build a sort of meta-narrative in their own heads and just, you know, imagine their own story, or a story that organically forms by having just a procedurally generated enemy that's specific for just you. No one else will get that specific Kuva Lich Grenier because they will be procedurally generated. They will have their own names, they will have their own visual appearance, they will have their own powers. All of it's going to be randomly generated. And they're gonna like behave differently in some regard, if it's gonna be like the Nemesis system. And how it plays out, how your rivalry plays out, is gonna vary from person to person. Or like how if they go full Shadow of Mordor with it, like, God, that was the best part of that game. Otherwise, like, the story in Shadow of Mordor and stuff like that is kind of pedestrian. But I'll give you like I'll give you an example. I'll give you a story of when I played Shadow of Mordor, and how I entered into a very long and storied rivalry with Tugog the Tactician. That he became my nemesis in that game. And obviously you'll have multiple of them. How the story works, or how the game works, is that like even if your nemesis dies, eventually someone new is going to be your nemesis. And they create these procedurally generated orc bosses, or champion characters. They have They have names, they have appearances, they have their own voice lines, the stuff they say. They have their own strengths, their own weaknesses and whatnot. So in that sense, all of them are acting like just, you know, boss characters or named characters or individuals. But the underlying thing in the game, that it kind of doesn't spell out for you, that you sort of like just learn as you play the game, is that one of them is going to be slightly different than the others. One of them is going to become your actual nemesis. It's going to be harder. You're gonna have to fight it like more times. You might think you've killed it, but he's gonna come back in some way. So you know, I'd fought dozens of those orc bosses and like just, you know, pit them against each other, favor one side over another in a internal power struggle, kill or hurt them in various ways, make them run away, and that gives them like a new weakness that they didn't have before because now they're afraid of whatever you did that made them run away. Who knows, whatever. But then there was one guy, Tugog the Tactician. Not that impressive stat-wise. Didn't have much to show for much of anything. Kind of a low-ranking boss. And you know, I took him out, killed him like I've done with so many others, and then went about my business. And then suddenly, as I'm just like running around the game, running around like some big rock or whatever, he just pops out from behind that rock and was like, "No, you didn't kill me, bitch. Yeah, I'm still here." And like just rushed at me again. This time, I hilariously, I ended the fight by kicking him into a fire. So he just started burning and just slumped together. And I was like, all right, that should be it. That should be it for old Tugog. And you know, keep on going, keep on trucking on, and like just, I don't know, couple of hours of gameplay later, look who shows up. This time like covered in bandages all over his body, and just he looks like a mess. But he's like, "Nah, you still didn't kill me, bitch. You just made me stronger." And he has been working in the background and like actually ranking up, and now he's got like a pretty decent group of orcs under him. This time I fought him again, and I couldn't beat him. Like he was just too strong, so I had to run away from the fight actually. Then as I progress in the story, there are these like sort of 4 orcs that are like chieftains or something. Or like as you advance in the main quest, like, oh, you have to take out these chieftains to sort of make the big bad show up or whatnot. So I'd taken out a couple of chieftains, and then I died in game. And like it's you don't actually die because, you know, you come back to life because that's a part of the story. But what happens when you die is that sort of triggers like the passing of time in the game. Like for example, you're playing Skyrim and you sleep for 8 hours or whatnot. And as time passes in the game, you like the orcs are doing shit in their own time. They're fighting internally. Some people, like, they kill each other. An orc boss can kill another orc boss and just like climb up the ranks that way and stuff. So what happened when I died and some time passed was, well, guess who fucking got promoted to a new chieftain? Good old Tugog. So now he's one of the big bosses in the game, and now he has his own fort and a veritable goddamn army of orcs beneath him. And it's like, oh, every time I've fought him, like, just, you know, he's adapted to my strategies and stuff, and it's like, now now he's actually really hard to kill. He's super strong. He's got an army. He's got a fort. Now he is an actual problem. And that's cool. Like, narratively, that's really cool. It adds an entire layer to the game and just it creates content out of itself, where you as a player just fill in the blanks. It's great. Eventually I did beat Tugog. I did hunt him down in his base, and I cut off his head. And it's like, you know what? That's the end of it. You're not coming back from that, asshole. He did not. He did not come back from that.
You held them all back. Time to get
Yay. So, I don't know if the Kuva Lich system is going to be that sort of like in-depth. I don't know if they're going to go that hard with it. If they do, I'm all for it. That would be amazing.
Abandon a fellow Cephalon, but
Yes, Jordas.
have fried his. Have not been kind. I suppose all Cephalons degrade, don't they?
They do. But yeah. Super looking forward to that. I guess we'll see. We'll see in the coming days. It's gonna come up soon. Oh yeah, and also Grendel, a new Warframe. He has a mouth on his belly. He eats enemies with his belly mouth. And then he spits them out. And then he turns himself into a ball and rolls around and hits things. It's gonna be amazing.